Let's rewind the clock to 15 beautiful little things from the 1970s that kids today might never understand. But for those of us who lived it, these moments will never fade. It was about green stamps, those tiny, sticky tokens of hope and patience. Every trip to the supermarket, the gas station, the department store meant a handful of S&H green stamps stuffed into your mom's purse. Kids would scramble to paste them neatly into booklets, careful not to rip the fragile edges. Whole families schemed about what they were saving up for. A shiny new toaster, a set of crystal glasses, maybe that coveted wagon for the youngest sibling. Redeeming the stamps was an event. You'd walk into the redemption center, a cross between a department store and a treasure trove, and finally trade in months of saving for something tangible, something earned. In a world before loyalty, apps, and cashback bonuses, green stamps taught kids and parents alike the value of delayed gratification. And decades later, just the sight of that green and white logo can still trigger the sweet memory of sticky fingers, glossy catalogs, and dreams glued onto brown pages. Malls as the ultimate hangout. Long before social media, before viral videos and TikTok dances, there was the mall, and it was everything. In the 1970s, malls weren't just places to shop. They were safe havens for teenagers, freedom wrapped in climate-controlled air conditioning. You met under the food court clock. You roamed in packs from Orange Julius to Spencer's Gifts, past the glowing arcade, and into the record store to flip through LPs you couldn't afford. Maybe you scored a first kiss by the fountain. Maybe you got caught sneaking into the theater for a PG-rated movie. Maybe you just wandered for hours dreaming. Moms loved malls because they were safe. Teens loved malls because they weren't at home. And the food. Greasy pizza slices, giant pretzels, frozen yogurt, the staples of a youth well spent. Malls taught us how to meet up, how to hang out, and how to be just a little more grown up while still clinging tightly to the last best parts of being a kid. Party lines. Imagine lifting the receiver to call your friend and hearing two complete strangers already deep into a conversation about pie recipes and church gossip. Welcome to Party Lines. In rural America, through the 1960s and early 70s, multiple households shared a single telephone line. Your ring was different. 2 short rings, 1 long, but let's be honest, curiosity often got the better of manners. We eavesdropped, we giggled, we learned way more about Mrs. Thompson's gallbladder surgery than we ever wanted to. Sometimes you needed the phone urgently. You'd politely pick up, listen awkwardly for a gap, and interject. "Excuse me, could you hang up? I need to call the school." And if the line was busy too long, moms would march down the street and knock on doors to settle things, neighbor to neighbor. There were no texts, no private calls to teenage crushes without the whole town knowing. Party lines taught us patience, negotiation, and the fine art of keeping secrets or not. And sometimes late at night, if you picked up quietly, you might just catch a forbidden love story whispered in the static drinking water, straight from the hose, hot day, dusty sneakers. You dropped your bike onto the lawn, ran to the side of the house, and yanked the garden hose from its metal holder. You turned the spigot full blast, waited for the scalding hot first burst to clear, and tipped that hose right into your mouth. It tasted like rubber, like sun-baked vinyl, like freedom. Nobody cared about BPA or filtration systems. No one worried about lead pipes or water purity levels. You were thirsty, and the hose was there. Sometimes you sprayed your friends. Sometimes you sprayed yourself. Sometimes, if you were lucky, you sprayed the dog, and he chased you around the yard. Barking garden hoses weren't just for drinking. They cooled you off, washed your scraped knees, and filled up wading pools until they sagged and split under the weight. Some memories come in high def. This one, it comes back cool, sharp, and deliciously real, like a mouthful of hose water on a 95-degree afternoon. Homemade book covers for textbooks. September meant school supply shopping, a new pencil case, a 3-ring binder, and of course, stacks of battered dog-eared textbooks handed down from older students. The first assignment wasn't algebra or spelling. It was covering your textbooks. You'd sit at the kitchen table with brown grocery bags, safety scissors, and a roll of Scotch tape carefully crafting covers that fit just so. Some kids doodled all over them, hearts, lightning bolts, the names of rock bands scratched in bubble letters. Some kept them pristine, terrified of Ms. Jacobs and her zero tolerance for damaged books policy. The smart ones used the inside folds to hide cheat sheets, dates for history class, conjugations for Spanish. Homemade book covers weren't glamorous, but they were personal, creative, and a rite of passage. Every scribble told a story. Every bent corner said, "I survived another year." And every saved grocery bag tucked into the bottom of a backpack meant you were ready for whatever the year might throw at you. Passing notes in class. Before texting, before WhatsApp, before secret Snapchats, there was the humble, heroic, heart-pounding note passed in class. You'd fold a torn piece of notebook paper into intricate shapes, triangles, squares, little footballs, and flick or sneak it across desks when the teacher wasn't looking. One eye on the clock, one eye on Mrs. Collins scribbling equations on the blackboard. Inside those notes, worlds. Did you hear about Tommy and Lisa? Want to come over after school? I like you. Do you like me? Check yes or no. Getting caught meant serious consequences. Allowed ahem from the teacher. Detention, humiliation as she read your deepest 12-year-old thoughts aloud to the entire class. But when a note made it through, the rush of triumph, the whisper of rebellion, the secret smile passed from one side of the room to the other. We weren't just sending messages, we were building friendships, taking risks, falling a little bit in love, one folded scrap at a time, riding bikes without helmets. Freedom came on 2 wheels, not on motorbikes, not on scooters, but on battered Schwinn, Stingrays, banana seats, gleaming in the sun, and not a helmet in sight. You felt invincible. You popped wheelies. You raced down gravel alleys without brakes. You played Evel Knievel over homemade ramps made from scrap wood and cinder blocks. Skinned knees were badges of honor. Torn jeans were just uniforms of glory. Parents weren't reckless. They just believed in toughness, resilience, and the occasional tetanus shot. And if your best friend wiped out, what did you do? You laughed. You helped them up. You dared them to try it again. Those rides didn't just get us from point A to B. They gave us our first taste of freedom, adventure, and the purest kind of summer joy. Monday Night Football family events. In the 1970s, Monday nights weren't just another weekday. They were sacred. Around 8 p.m., dinner dishes clattered into sinks. Homework was stuffed half-finished into trapper keepers, and dads clicked the TV dial to ABC Howard Cosell's unmistakable voice cut through living rooms across America. Welcome to Monday Night Football. Families crowded onto couches. Bowls of popcorn were passed around. Arguments broke out over which team was better. Some kids snuck sips of Coke late into the night. Some moms rolled their eyes but stayed just to feel part of it. The games themselves. Sure, they mattered, but mostly Monday nights were about belonging, about routines that stitched families together, about the shared cheers, the groans, the sleepy trips to bed afterward, still wearing your team's jersey. Monday Night Football wasn't just a game. It was an American tradition, a heartbeat, a memory that still echoes down through the years.